Let's go live. Let's go live. Then we'll figure it out from there. Welcome to another episode of What Did Adam Say? Episode 25, season 4. Telling you one of these days I'm going to go through and we're going to start just numbering these episodes to make it nice and easy. I think I'm over the seasons thing. I don't know about everybody else, but I am super over it. Shout out to the podcast listeners who are listening to this afterwards. Shout out to everybody that ends up watching this. If you're watching this late, type a what's late? Put a clock in the chat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now, do I want to smoke a bowl or do I want to roll it up? These are the important decisions. I think. I think. I'm very excited for this announcement. I'm gonna wait for a few people to come in. We're gonna tell some stories before that announcement, because you know me. That's what I always do first. I tell stories, and then talk about what I want to talk about. And let me just post on a few places. Live now on Twitch. Big announcement. Come celebrate and learn even more about me. Let's fucking grow. Twitch.tv/ what did Adam say? What did Adam? Okay, it'd be cool if I could spell. Cool if I could spell, guys. Love now, not live now. Love now on Twitch. This is why we pay $2 a month, to make sure that we can edit our posts. So, waiting for people to come on. Waiting for people to come on. I think I'm gonna roll up, honestly. I ain't even playing these games no more. Let me post on Facebook. See, maybe people want to come on. Just dropped all my weed, guys. All my weed into my ashtray. That would have been so horrible. Shit like that happens to me all the time. I'm just so clumsy with weed. That's why I like dabs better, honestly. But dabs were making me feel like my throat was like closing up, and all the time I'm just like, like I'm a fucking old ass car revving and shit. So we ain't gonna do that. My throat's been feeling better since I stopped doing dabs. Unfortunately, I really fucking love doing dabs. Way more than doing smoking bud. But hey, it is what it is. You take your battles. I still get stoned from bud, so you got to take a break from the dabs when you feels like they're getting caught in your throat and shit. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? How's everybody doing out there tonight? Hope everybody's having a great day. I know I'm definitely having a great week, great day. I actually went and I'm catching up on all my tax shit, right? So I finished one of the most pivotal moments to be able to catch up on all my tax shit today. And if it's filed and I'm almost caught up, I would say this tax season I'll be all caught up on all my tax shit for a couple years back. And then man, sky's the limit, because I'm about to pay off all my debts with this announcement that I'm gonna make. And then man, I'm just excited for the future, y'all. I didn't really come for much, so to be able to do what I'm doing makes me proud, you know. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. As long as I'm making my family happy, I'm making me proud. I know I'd make my Nana proud. And good times, man. Good times. So who's out here watching with me tonight? Let's see. It says we got 3 people on the Twitch. Don't be quiet tonight, y'all. I want to hear you talking. See who's out there. Oh, I need to post on Instagram too. Then I can talk. Then I can talk about this announcement. We'll talk about the story and then the announcement. We are live now. Come watch twitch.tv/what did Adam say, making an announcement. Come check it out. Let's celebrate. I don't know what that'll sound like, but hopefully it sounds good, because that's what's going up. I like the fact that Instagram made it so you can add a link even if you don't have 10,000 followers, because it was always, let's be honest, it was always kind of bullshit that you needed 10,000 followers to post a link. Like, come on, fam. You're telling me I cannot post my own link? Instagram needs to get with it, y'all. But we're 5 minutes in. When we 10 minutes in, I'm going to start talking about my story. I just want to be able to smoke this and get my mind right. I haven't planned any of this. Actually, tonight I was supposed to have my homie Josh Boyer on. He is a really dope barber, really dope human being in general, and one of my brothers. So I'm sad that he couldn't come on, but his family is not feeling well, and he's being super dad over there. So he couldn't make it tonight. That happens sometimes. I kind of was thinking about holding this show off till next week, but now it's this week, and I've been given permission, so I'm able to talk about it, and that makes me pretty happy. Well, I got Roman Punks on next week. Tyler Berman on the week after that. He's working with VaynerMedia now, so we got some cool people coming up on the show. Oh, we got Brigham coming up again. Solo show on 421. We're gonna be celebrating. Lighter. When your lighter looks like that, you know what it is. If you know what I'm saying. So let's spark this shit up. It's about to snow tonight, y'all, in a few hours. What was I saying, though? I said tax shit. My guest couldn't make it tonight. Yeah. So, whew, I said 10 minutes. I'm going to stick with 10 minutes. Take a couple hits of this. I edited my webcam to look a little better. Not so much like a potato. Apparently, my indoor cat got out today. Our indoor cat. Thank you, Chaotic. It looks good, all things considered. I actually was just, dude. It's been almost 2 months since I sent my camera in for repair. I gotta call them. I'm slipping, dude. How can I? Imagine if they just stole my camera. They never called me or nothing though, so I don't know what's really going on. But tonight's definitely all about celebration. That's what we do when we do good things. You have to celebrate. That would be horrible, dude. I'd cry a little bit just for like 30 seconds, because that camera's like a $1,200 camera, something like that. It's a Canon D80. I think that's what it is. Canon D80. And yeah, if you're watching on the Twitter there, come over to Twitch. Twitch is definitely where it's at. I only put it on Twitter so people know that I'm live. And can I pin a comment? I cannot pin a comment. That's good. It's whatever you are. I can block myself, but I cannot pin a comment. It's alright. It's alright. We'll figure it out. Let me move this. Yeah. I don't think the camera guys called me. I've checked my voicemails and stuff. I do have a ridiculous amount of voicemails. That's one of the things I'm working on, getting better about checking my voicemails, because I feel like there's gotta be opportunities that I've missed because of the fact that I don't really answer my voicemails. So who knows? Maybe Elon's already called me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. But oh, there we go. That's a much better angle. I can't wait to have my camera back. I'm so sick of, like, as you guys can see, I've mentioned, like, every show, green screen on the back. It's literally for the camera, so that way I can change my background to be wherever I wanna be. And that's I think what I'm gonna do is, like, try to get a background picture of my guest and then green screen it into their same background, something like that. But it's 10 minutes. I promised I would start storytelling at 10 minutes, so here we go, right? I never really grew up with a lot of money at all. Like, I don't think my dad made more than $30,000 in his whole life, like, yearly. Still to this day, I don't think. Um, I came from very humble beginnings. And for me to be doing what I'm doing right now is kinda crazy. So, I wanna talk about those humble beginnings a little bit, right? Like, I grew up in a small little city called New Bedford, and New Bedford's kind of a, poorer city, and it used to be like a whaling city, but obviously whaling isn't really a thing anymore, and when that happens, an industry, that a city that depends on an industry so much, what happens is that industry goes out and the city doesn't survive, and that's essentially how New Bedford was for a long time. It's starting to build up now, but that's where I grew up, and my dad, and mom split when I was young. Ended up being with my dad from when I was, like, almost 7. I would think I was, like, 6 and a half, till I was about 10. 10? 11, sorry, about 11. So, about, 4 years, I was with my dad, didn't really see my mom, and I saw all my dad's financial struggles, because he made it very known. He, was very open about his struggles and, because he was just so frustrated with them and didn't know how to get himself out. And luckily, his mother, my nana, always kinda told me that I was the one to fix that. I was the one to, change the course of the family history, and I always took that to heart. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. It's something I live with literally every day, but I thrive off it, and I've always kinda thought outside of the box because of it. I didn't do well in school. I actually was thinking about this because, of current day situations with something, um, how the only time I was ever good at school was when my dad forced me. He literally, like, I couldn't do anything. I could barely go pee. Like, that was, like, the only thing I could do is go pee. I was coming home and doing homework, period. Didn't matter, whether I wanted to or not, what kind of day I was having. I came home and had to do homework. And, I really enjoyed reading back then and everything too, which I don't really these days. So, eventually, when I didn't live with my dad anymore, nobody forced me to do my homework, and, it was my dad never, like he didn't, like, yell at me, scream at me, he would sit and help me, like, he would talk me through things to help me better understand it, and some things, he learned along the way because he wasn't very good at school either. He was, like I think he was the first person in my family to graduate high school, maybe the 2nd. So, I graduated high school. I graduated on time because I'm a hustler, and I didn't wanna be what's the point of wasting years in school if I hate school? So I literally went to summer school between sophomore and junior year. It took, like, 3 classes. I went to summer school between junior and senior year, and I was able to graduate on time. Like, going into my junior year, I was technically a freshman with credits. I went to college. I, um I got accepted into a technical college for audio engineering. I took their test. I was basically not gonna have to take any of my prerequisites because I smoked that test. But it was about $30,000 a year for 3 years, $90,000. My parents could not afford that. That's like, they're barely scraping by. How the hell are they gonna afford that? And, I didn't get to go. So I went to a community college, and for computer science. It was 2008. So, I saw what was happening, and I really wanted to be like a website designer, programmer. I was learning C++, plus plus, all that, but it wasn't my thing. It wasn't clicking in my brain the way it should if that was, what I was meant to do. And I do have a lot of friends that did do that and are very wealthy now. So I saw it. It wasn't for me. I joined the Marines when I dropped out of that. Um, you know, let me tell you a story about community college before I go to the Marine Corps. I hated all my classes except one. I was taking a radio broadcasting class, right? And I was excited about this because I was already doing music for about 6 years at that point. And by doing music, I don't mean, you know, I just rapped like into a microphone. Like I wrote, recorded all my own shit. So I used a program. I still use a program called Adobe Audition. It used to be Cool Edit Pro. Shout out to you if you remember that. You're an OG. um, and it just so happened that the radio broadcasting class also used Adobe Audition, right? So, um, she was teaching everybody Adobe Audition, like as if nobody in the class had ever used it, which I'd say about a quarter of the class had experience with it, and out of that quarter, like two of us had more than 5 years of experience with it, like had been playing with it. So I would constantly help out the other students because she would explain it in ways that I'm like, bro, I don't do it that way. Like I can do the same thing by doing these two things that she just took 10 steps to do. Ready? And then show them. And it got out quick. People would start doing stuff, like doing examples for the teacher of like showing how they're doing their process, and they would do like the three-step process that I taught them to get to the same area. And she's like, "Where'd you learn? That's not what I taught you. You're supposed to do dit, 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 dit." And like, "Well, no, you just do this and this and this. It's a shortcut Adam taught me." Like so we didn't get along, and I was honestly so bored because she's teaching me stuff I already knew about Adobe. So I think it was like the third or fourth or fifth. It was like very early on. We definitely weren't done with the first semester. I was done with my final project so soon because it was like the easiest thing. I think it took me 15 minutes to make. And it was like to like make a commercial or something like that for the radio. And I did all the components that she wanted because it was really easy to do. And she was mad at me for being done early. So that, my motivation for that class just went away because, oh, so when I'm doing well finally in school, a teacher doesn't want to, you know, like I would have been her like assistant, like I loved it that much. I love that kind of shit. And I would have gladly been like her assistant in there. And I knew what I was talking about. I have a great voice. I have good ideas. I'm a good writer. So she missed out, you know? But that's why, like, paired with the fact that I wasn't getting C++ plus plus at all, I just was like, fuck, this isn't for me. Joined the Marine Corps. Uh, right before I left, I found out my nana was not doing well. It was like one of the first times she fell, and she was just. No, it was actually like I think it was the second or third time she fell actually, because that was later on. It was probably the second time she fell because I think it was the third time that really like kind of put her under. When you get older, as when you fall, it affects you a lot more. So I found that out. And I didn't really want to go anymore, and luckily, my date was pushed out a little bit further than I thought. So I got a little bit more, a couple more visits in, but I left just not feeling it already. But I made a commitment. I signed a contract, an 8-year contract, right? So there's no turning back from this. I signed the dotted line. I've done everything. I was leaving. I did all my physicals. I did everything except swear in, essentially. So I went. and I stepped on those yellow steps in Paris Island, and I gave it my all, and I was having really bad anxiety attacks, and I, like, tried to privately let the drill instructor know that, like, I'm, like, going my nana, she's like my mom, she's, like, dying right now, and I'm trying really hard to focus on like, that's the type of person I am, like, when I fuck up, I just wanna say, I'm sorry," and that's, like, not what they really want, they want you to just not fuck up. So, like, I was just fucking up, spacing out, like, that type of thing, and I tried to tell them, and they kinda treated me already like, "Oh, pussy, pussy, fucking if she dies, you can go home." Like, damn. I was like, "Damn, can I, like, just go home and visit? I'll come back, like, way more focused. I need to make sure she's okay," that type of stuff, and they're just, like, calling me a pussy. Um, there was a point I got hurt, I hurt my knee. I kept pushing through until literally the Navy doctor saw my knee all swollen. I wasn't putting any weight on it. They pulled me aside and they pulled me out of the platoon. They put me in the rehabilitation platoon so I can get better. And they basically used me telling them that I was having a lot of anxiety into like, you just don't want to be here. I'm like, bro, look at my fucking knee. You're telling me I don't want to be here? Like, when they brought me to the rehabilitation platoon, they're supposed to bring you on like a golf cart, and they made me walk across the entire campus, carrying all my bags and everything, and limping the whole like barely able to walk the whole way, just pushing through, and the drill instructor screaming at me, yelling at me, and there was like it got to a point where it was like halfway through, and he stopped. He's like, "Are you really in that much pain?" I was like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I am in this much pain." And he grabbed one of my bags, like, "Let's fucking go." Like, yeah, I think he realized, like, I was really hurt, but he was the kill sergeant, kill hat. I can't remember what they call it. He was the one that just went the fucking hardest on everybody, so that little moment of empathy was a big thing. So, I ended up leaving. I ended up not going back. My knee never really healed. They didn't do any rehab with me. I, I, they didn't do any rehab with me, but they tried to make me qualify to go back to my platoon. So I did it. I tried my hardest, but like, I took it slow in the beginning and my knee just popped right back out. I blew it out running and I just kept going and drilling on it. And when you're drilling, you're like slamming your heels into the ground, which makes like it's all your knee muscles and everything. It was really painful. Um, and like halfway through the race, I literally was like hobbling, like almost like trotting like a horse. And they pulled me aside and they stopped. They were just like, "Okay, you're done." And I'm just like, "What happens from here?" They kept me there for like a week and a half. They had my senior drill instructor come visit me and hype me up. He's like, "Do you want to come back?" I was like, I do want to come back. I wish you guys would have treated me a little like believe me that I'm really hurt, but I would like to come back. And then they put me into what's called um, separation platoon, I believe. It's something like that. So they make you wear like your short shorts and your a white t-shirt with a yellow fucking highlighter thing across your chest, basically saying like I failed Marine Corps boot camp. And it's like right next to where everybody graduates. So you hear people graduating. You see families coming to see new Marines, all proud of them. And it's just more of the psychological warfare. They don't tell you when you're going home. They just let you sit there. It was like 2 weeks and they hadn't said anything. And mind you, I know I'm going home now. So now I'm like freaking out. I just want to see my nana. Like everybody's like telling me everything's okay, but it's not. It wasn't. And so I one day I was in the bathroom and I freaked out. Like I was having like a literal like mental breakdown in the bathroom. And I remember this kid Considine, Jake Considine. I don't know how I remember that name. He was one of my good friends that like he was in my platoon. He got hurt too, and we both ended up leaving. And I literally like pounded on the drill instructor's door at the separation platoon. And he like whipped his door open and like grabbed me and pulled me in, closed the door. What the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I need to go home. I can't do this anymore. Where I need to make sure like I'm like flipping the fuck out. And he just like looks at me and like just breathes like I understand that you are going through a lot and you don't know what's going on. But if you don't get the fuck out of my office, I'm going to charge you with treason and I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. So I literally just left. I'm sitting on my footlocker, like my whole body's shaking, like my legs just like, I'm just like angry as hell. And then, like, probably an hour later, that drill instructor comes out of the room. He's like, all right, everybody I call into the next fucking room. And he called a lot of the troublemakers that were in that separation platoon. And then he called me, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna end up," because I've heard if you get in trouble, like they just keep you there longer, like it's prison, like that's just what they do. So you have to be good. You have to be medically cleared. So anything wrong with you, I had this like cellulitis bump, and I literally stabbed into it, poured rubbing alcohol into it, like I cleaned it all out myself. Horrible, horrible, horrible. But I didn't go home. I had to go home. Remember that I had to go home. Um, so we get pulled in the other room and say we have a bus coming in I think it was like 4 days. I think it was like a Thursday and it was Monday it was coming. So we all know we're going home, right? So it's in South Carolina. They send us on a bus. Luckily Considine was on that bus with me. And he was going to New York. I was going to Boston, so it was only a few hours really by myself. We took shifts sleeping and everything. Um, we drove down to Georgia for some reason first and then back up. So it was like 25 hours or something like that, longer 30 hours. It was a long fucking time in that bus. We switched buses halfway. There was like somebody like smelled like piss on the first bus. It was just all bad. And I get home and I'm a mess, like literally just like a PTSD mess from having people scream at me for months. And like when you're in the separation platoon, like everybody knows it, so everybody fucks with you, like from the low level like PFCs to all the way up to like even the Navy doctors start fucking with you. Like everybody just fucks with you, like you're just a piece of garbage because that's what you are on their mind for not passing Marine Corps boot camp. So I left boot camp. I went to school again for criminal justice. Uh, I was doing great. I had perfect grades through 2 semesters, and I wasn't learning anything, so I just dropped out. I was like, "What the fuck is the point of this?" And then I applied for Full Sail University, got accepted, almost did it, and then dropped out of it at the last second. I don't know why. Still to this day, I think I wasn't in a stable place in my life. I was like sleeping in some frame of a room made in my mom's basement, like not doing good. So, all that to say, I've struggled through a lot of life and I've hustled through life and I've worked really hard to build up my resume, build up my businesses. And a lot of you know that, I started working again in October, like a little over 4 months ago, like 4 months and 2 weeks, something like that. I started over, I was just a lowly level, entry level sales rep, made good money, like I'm making good money as a sales rep. Um, but I just know there's more. There's a lot more. So I've been pushing really hard, a little bit of luck, a lot of executing, and just perfect timing. I just got promoted to an area manager. And what that means essentially is I have potential to make up to like 6 figures, over that, like, you know, that mark there. And if you've been following along with my journey since I've been really publicly putting it out there since 2017 ish, which is kind of unfair because I've always been putting my life out there because I make music, right? Thank you, man. Thank you. Um, I make music, so I'm always putting my feelings out there. But putting it out like the way I have the past few years, and it's always increasing. I'm getting like more transparent with everything because nothing really bothers me anymore. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've realized that that's okay. And as long as you actually learn from them, that's what matters is learning from them. And it took me a while to learn that. Like, you feel bad for things and then you do them again, and you feel bad for things and then you do them again. And then you never really look at like the root cause of why you're doing these things. And that's what I've really been working on. Um, when I say I can't think of another family member on my mom or my dad's side who makes six figures, that's the truth. The fuck was that? Did you hear that? It sounded like there was something climbing up my roof behind me. It's funny too because there's a slit in the screen. So raccoon come right on in. Um, yeah. So nobody. I can't think of anybody in my family that has ever made six figures in my life, except my stepdad growing up. He was a lawyer. He's not my stepdad anymore. My mom and him got divorced, but he made probably about what I am going to make, and he is a lawyer. A pretty good lawyer too, went to school for the 8 years or 6 years, whatever the fuck it is, and was a defense attorney and made good money. Like we had a nice house. What was inside of it wasn't, the best, the energy. But we had a nice house, if that means anything. I think it does mean something. I think that was a lot of motivation for me. I think like everybody tells you you have to do something a certain way in order to make it. And I feel like I've disproven that so many times at this point now. Since 2015, really honestly, since I like met my now fiance, like I just, I don't know. I had my son, I met my fiance like about 7 months later, and life changed drastically. Like, and we moved to Colorado. I really like grinded my ass off, moved back home. Like, so I went from a sales rep June 2015 to an area manager March 2016 for AT&T. And then I left AT&T in September to move back to Massachusetts because T-Mobile had hired me to literally do the same thing I was doing for AT&T, but instead of 6 stores, it would be 29. So I got hired as a regional position. They couldn't figure out even what to fucking do with me because they were like, "You're technically like with us district managers, like that's how high up you are on the chain." Yeah, no shit. It should be that way. Um, and then I managed 2 of my own stores, and now, I'm managing at least 2, probably 3 in the future stores right now. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This job has really been perfect. It's allowed me the downtime I need. It's the easiest sales I think I've ever done because it is genuinely helping people. Like, I'm trying to help you find the perfect bed so you could sleep the best. If you can't afford the perfect bed, let's go to, good, better, best. Let's go to the better bed. Can you afford that? No? Okay. Is it worth the money difference between the good and the better for you? No? All right, let's get the good. Like it's that fucking simple. I'm not trying to swindle anybody, and we do help a lot of people. I feel like, getting a better sleep is, I wish people actually like thought about it after we get a lot of good reviews, but if everybody thought about how much better they slept, yeah, I could ship to Minnesota for sure. I can. I have my ways. I shipped an order to North Carolina. Um, last no, it was the beginning of this month. So, I'm getting that Tempur-Pedic, bro, like, that's my next bed, 1,000%. Like, we have a queen memory foam right now, like, one of our in-house brands, and an adjustable base and all that, but, like, dude, the Tempur-Pedics, bro. My girl laid on it, and she's like, "Why doesn't our bed do this?" And I was like, "Babe, our whole setup is, like, $3,000. That mattress is $3,200, you know, like, it's just a big difference. That but it's so fucking worth it, dude. I can't wait to get my king temper. We got a queen size right now, but when we buy a house, we're getting a king bed for sure. Maybe even a Cali King, honestly. Although Cali King is longer. I don't really care about the length because neither one of us are really tall. Yeah, you definitely have to, like, lay on them for sure, Chaotic. You have to fucking or Matt. I don't know why I call people by their names. But you can you definitely have to lay on it. So I could send you a tool to kinda, like, fill out, and then you could go into a mattress firm near you and be like, "Hey, my buddy in Massachusetts," and they can actually I'm pretty sure they can look me up. So, like, if they do work and, like, help fit you to a mattress, they can split the sale with me, and I'm more than happy to do that, like, with that salesperson if they're gonna do the work and everything. Because it is a little bit of a process that you have to go through. So they have a way to do that, and, yeah, so and I could give you, like but I can give you a lot of, like, good pointers and give you the link that you're gonna fill out in the store anyways, so it's gonna make the person's job a little bit easier because 'cause you're already gonna have filled out all the questionnaire and everything. So I'll send that to you afterwards. Send me a message on, like, Instagram just to remind me. And then I won't even have to, he'll be able to ship it out of your local warehouse. I mean, I could find your local warehouse, but, he probably knows it better than I. I actually just it's funny, this guy came in, right, and he bought an Airbnb in this town called Little Compton in Rhode Island, which it sounds funny, Little Compton, like, it sounds like it might be like the hood, but it's like a really nice beach area. It's a really nice beach area, and so I already know this guy's got money, right? Hey, Matt, don't feel bad. Most people are mattress dumb. I was mattress dumb before October 12th, and even probably after that. Probably not till like a month into my job was I not mattress dumb. Now I know exactly what to look for, and people try to argue with me, and I'm like, bruh, I have 200 hours of training under my, more like 240 hours of training under my belt. Like they go hard on training, and then I've been on the floor for hours and talked to many people. Like, you're not the first person that thinks like you. Some people are so stubborn. They're like, I'm a firm. Like, well, according to results and according to what I've seen, you're a medium or you're a plush, and some people are mad stubborn. Um, People get stuck in their ways, but everybody's mattress dumb. Don't feel bad. I have a reason to be not mattress dumb. The smarter I am about mattresses, the less dumb you feel coming into my store because I can speak to you on the levels of like not knowing anything and start pitching little ideas in your head and shit. It's a fun process. It's a fun when you really like break it down and you make people think about their life. Like I'm like, hey, do you ever sleep hot at night? And they're like, dude, all the time. I'm like, oh wow, any issues with snoring? And when it's a couple, it's always one that points to the other, like him, he's the snorer. And I'm like, okay, like that's a really bad sleep disruptor when you're snoring, you're not breathing correctly, and your body's not able to regulate your heart rate and drop your body temperature. And like just like throwing little things like that that I know about sleep. Like we have an adjustable base, like I said, my fiance will be she's gonna kill me for even saying it, but she's a snorer. And I put the adjustable base up and she's just like nose breathing, relaxing. It's it's fucking amazing. It's something I would have never known about though. It's a lot of fun. This is probably why I got the promotion too, because I like really love this shit. I really love this shit. I love educating people. I love helping people. And I'm honestly becoming pretty passionate about sleep. And I get upset with myself when I stay up late, which is way too often. Definitely not as late as I used to. I'm getting better, but I just I hate when I go to bed late because I'm like, I know I'm fucking myself. I should be getting better sleep than this. So it is what it is, you know. You got to do what you got to do. Sometimes it hits 11 o'clock and some kind of creativity hits me. Happens all the time, dude. I try not to control it, you know, because I don't know. It could be considered maybe manic or something like that because it's just so fucking out of nowhere and random. But I don't really consider it that. I consider it more like my brain just works how it works. I've always been that way. Even with music, when I have to like force myself to write, it's usually not my best material. When I'm sitting on something and then all of a sudden I have this spark, like, I'm gonna write right now. And then I do it. I'm done in like 20 minutes and it's fire. It comes out so much better. So it's just the beginning, yo. It's really just the beginning because now what making six figures is going to allow me to do is to, I'm going to get caught up with all my tax stuff. Now I'll definitely have enough money to pay for anything because of my stupidity of falling behind, any fees that I have to pay, unfortunately. Um, Hopefully it's nothing too exorbitant. Like, hopefully I can pay it off within a few paychecks, but taxes will be done. Debt will be cleared. I think all of it. That's what I'm thinking. If I can just be really frugal with my money and act like I don't have six figures coming in, um, it's just it's gonna. Oh my god, what that's gonna do for me is like I haven't had financial freedom. Like I've been stressed financially since 2011, 10. Like even before that, honestly, like when I was 16, 17, my stepdad was already trying to charge me rent, so I would just go like stay at my girlfriend's house, and like just it's fucking crazy shit. So I've been stressed about finances basically my whole life, my whole adult life, for sure, for sure. There was like a year period kinda with in Colorado where we weren't stressing about it. I should have been stressing it a little bit more, paying off a little bit more of my debts and whatnot, but we were living good, not stressing about money. But this will be the first time by next year, maybe even by the end of this year. I'm thinking like beginning of Q2 next year, no debt except like my credit cards under 30% so I can keep good debt on there, keep it going and revolving, up my limits, all that shit. Like I know how to build my credit now. So by that time when all my debt's gone, my credit will probably be between 720 and 750. I also want to help my wife pay down some of her fucking debts so she can be up in that credit range with me too. And then with both of us up there, we'll be sitting pretty to, we'll have some money saved up. I'm gonna maybe use my VA loan because I did get honorably discharged out of that story from the Marine Corps, so I might be able to get a VA loan, and that would be awesome. If for all that bullshit I went through, I got a house, like with low interest and low down payment and land and everything I want. It's gonna be difficult with the VA loan to find land. I have to find land with a house on it already, and then the renovations have to be on my own dime essentially, which is okay. Um, but I really would like to use that or some kind of first time home buyers thing to get it a low down payment. Like I plan on being on that house for a long time and making good money. So uh, you know, I don't mind not putting a big chunk down. And that's gonna be part of the project too. I've talked about my NFT project where I really want to buy land, and I had a few gut checks, like that's funny. You like read my mind about what I was going to talk about. I had a few gut checks. I had the plan of going to Virginia, and I mean this plan isn't completely out yet, but I think I'd have to be making like 250 a year to realistically be able to do that, because Matt, I realize this is going under my personal stuff. Like Terra Apothecary is a business, but it doesn't bring in income yet because it's an environmental research business. So the only money that's been coming in is from the NFT project. I'm not selling anything. I don't have really anything to sell except my expertise. And even that, I try to just, you know, give to the token holders so that way we can build together and whatnot. But the plan was to go to Virginia with a few V friends and buy land within the next few months. And I had meetings with everybody, and we all had some gut checks together. Like we all had something. Everybody has skeletons when it comes to buying properties, like tax stuff, all these different things. It's a it was a gut check for all of us to just be more patient. So all of us are kind of looking at establishing our own land now, like buying our own piece of land, so that way we can come together and do that maybe in the next 2 to 3 years. Like this is long term. I have to think long term, but I would still like to get a decent amount of land for my personal land because I really don't need a ton of it. Like 5 acres would be awesome, 10 acres even better. But if I got like a 50-acre property, I could use a lot of it for data for this project and still have nice woods, and it's all win-win. It is still a growing business, and I think I was trying too hard to um make it into what it's going to be. It's going to happen. This is going to go into this. Like, we're talking to some major fucking people right now. Like, let me read you a text, right? I'm not going to tell you who it's from. Just kidding. It's from my partner, Eric. Um, hmm, where'd it go? Oh, so we're going to talk to these guys about complete monetization of crops. They help get contracts with plastic companies, hemp wood, hempcrete, and they even have carbon data for some of their genetics. He's sending me an email I could forward along, catalog data, etc. They can broker deals or directly connect us. This is an emerging market for them, and they're looking for community partners in a way. Hemp community, that is. And then he said, I had a great convo with them. They have carbon data on a lot of what they're doing. It's we got invited to talk to them, and we're speaking with them very soon. 1,000%, dude. Patience is key in this. I think if I rush it, it's not gonna work. It's really not gonna work. Um, I This is a lifetime project, Matt. I've realized that in the beginning, I did this and I was honest about this, so I never feel guilty admitting this. I did this because I had no way to crowdfund. I had everybody and a lot of people in the VFriends community saying, "Oh, I would donate to you," but I like set up a GoFundMe, and I'm like, "I can't. I'm a cannabis business." Or the other one, I can't remember what it is, but I'm not allowed to. I'm a cannabis business. So I hit up Jeremy and I was like, wait, isn't really NFTs kind of like crowdfunding? And I could just say I'm crowdfunding, like just be honest with people, come up with cool art, maybe not one of one arts, but one of 10 and one of 90s. So like kind of rare. And get my funding. And it worked to get funding for last season, and I was stressing about selling tokens, and I think really missing out on the point of why I'm doing this project. Why I didn't know it in the beginning, but the reason I'm doing this is because this is how we take power back as people, I think. I'm doing some major disrupting in some major industries like the lumber industry, petroleum, plastics, all that kind of stuff is going to be disrupted. And I know the potential danger in that. I'm not stupid. I know what happens when you mess with billionaire money, especially if you can prove a way to do it for a lot cheaper. They don't tend to like that unless they can profit massively off of it. That's all they care about, money. So if I have a squad with me, it makes me a lot less worried because at least everybody knows the mission. I'm very public with the token holders about a lot of stuff. That's why I want to start doing um what's it called? Like not Q&A, but whatever they call it in the NFT space. I can't think about it right now because I'm not in NFT mode, but um I really think that me being able to kind of put a little money back into the project, maybe I get paid back, maybe I don't. Um, Instead of stressing about getting more token holders is going to make it so the right token holders end up on this project and we're able to grow it even more. You know, like maybe part of the strategic partnership is you guys get 20 of these NFTs, you know, like these are gonna mean something. These are gonna mean something like this company we're working with. I don't know. I'm literally talking out of my ass, but it's something I'm thinking about everything and anything, like any possibilities that could come up. I'm trying to think of what I would say or do in that situation, like even if it seems crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy. What's crazy really is I feel like I really feel like my dad kind of told me I couldn't do this. That's why we don't talk anymore. Like we haven't talked in almost 4 years. It's been three and a half, a little over 3.5 years. You know, 3 years fully since we really said anything. And he told me I had delusions of grandeur from and maybe I was bipolar, you know, like type of shit. Because they tried to say I was bipolar. They want to put me on meds. My dad fought against it when I was a kid. So talk about a flip, right? Um, and Gary says all the time, you don't need toxic people in your life. He was shooting down everything, guys. I was about to like try to wrangle up $10,000 and get it to my dad, like raise $10,000 for my dad and give it to him to start his own microgreens business so he can get out of the wing of his boss, and you know be happier with life and start his own shit because he's the most knowledgeable person I know by far and large about plants. He absolutely loves plants, and that's a big reason why I do what I do. Like, it sucks that he's not a part of this yet. And when he is a part of it, if he ever decides to be, it's going to be a little awkward because there's some stuff we need to talk about. Like, my dad hasn't met my daughter, you know, she's 3. I would never, you know. I don't care how mad I am at my kid. You text me and say, "Hey, we're having a baby and we're 20 minutes away from you." And I'm there. I don't care if we haven't talked in 4 years. I'm there. Period. End of story. You know. So it is what it is. You have to cut off toxic people. I still love my dad. If he came around, I would love to have him a part of this because he'd be invaluable. Invaluable. He would help me go around a bunch of hurdles that I would have to jump over and trip over myself, which is good, but you know, you don't want every hurdle, you know. I've chosen every hurdle and just learned how to jump high enough to get over that hurdle and just keep adapting. Oh, that's not for me. Move on. Oh, that's not for me. Move on. Like my CBD business, guys, like I've been super quiet about it. You know why I've been super quiet about it? Because I don't have the creative mind, I guess, to know how to market my product properly. I've gotten it pretty high in sales and I've gotten it up there, but now I need it to be at a bigger scale, I think. So I really want to start paying a marketing team, you know. Maybe the first month or 2 comes out of pocket and then I can reimburse myself because it's making money and I can get the next tier where they're doing even more to make more money, and that's another, you know, avenue of money. They say to be like a true millionaire, you have to have like streams of income, cool. I got the job right now. I still have the CBD business. Once I can get that rolling, that can make, great money. It really can. And I can help a lot of people again. So again, two forms of making money, two forms of helping people. I've given away so much CBD, so much CBD. I've discounted so much CBD because people genuinely cannot afford it and they genuinely need it. And that's what I fully believe. Even with mattresses, y'all. I've literally discounted to the point where I make like $3 in commission on it. They don't know that. They don't know that I just hooked them up with the literal best price I could possibly hook them up with. I saw them struggling like a college student with their first apartment, and I just want to hook them up. You want to know why? Because I just created a customer for life for Mattress Firm. Even after I leave, my value is still going to be there. People are going to be asking about me. Legacy. Yeah, like everywhere I'm going, I'm just trying to leave behind a legacy. T-Mobile's like the only place that got fucked up at because I asked for a raise too soon in their eyes. I think it would have been a deserved raise, but their loss. That's how you have to like view life. And I've had a hard time. I don't know whether I believe in like a universe, God, like there's a higher power. I feel like, but it's been a lot of like divine intervention of things that have happened in my life lately, and I'm just kind of paying attention more. I'm more hyper aware of it, and working harder towards what I want to achieve and trying to be more clear with everything I'm doing. So now making six figures, well into six figures, it's gonna start doing everything that I needed to do to start, accomplishing all the goals I have and to start building this permanent legacy and to start really helping the planet. And on top of this, we're still, in the Elon contest in full transparency. We missed the deadline to submit our reporting for the milestone contest. So like the top 15 teams, they give them $1 million each. The amount of it was literally would have been like a 50-page thing, guys. Like I just could not do it. My partner and I could not get it done. It was way above our pay grade scientifically and humbling because now we got to find somebody who's, more on that level. We're talking to some professors and whatnot from Cornell and Virginia University and a few other places, because, we could have cost ourselves $1 million just now, but hindsight's 2020. You can't predict that stuff. That doesn't mean we're out of the contest completely. It just means we missed out on that milestone, which that $1 million injection would have been. I could do that Virginia thing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be good. Cash. That's why it becomes less of a risk. So I just I didn't have the skill set for it. I don't. So now I'm branching out and trying to get with people who do have the skill set for it. And the grand prize for first place is $50 million. I would love to donate some of that to a university to help, build upon carbon testing and hemp testing and all that stuff within the university. I would love to do that in multiple universities. I'm not greedy about this money at all. I want this money to go towards the good. I do want to be able to build a plant on site where we're growing hemp to like turn it into fibers and all that stuff, because the less you're lugging it around, the better. So you make like your finished product to be sent out right at the plant. That's kind of what I envision. So I need like, I'd say $4 or $5 million out of that 50. After that, it's building, like $1 million to this university for building this program, $1 million to this university for building this program. In turn, we get free testing and whatnot. We get access, like to their information and their data, and we work collaboratively to build this. Like I'm in, and I want to create a carbon credit program for farmers. That's still top of my list. So it's part of what I want the USDA, not the local governments. I want the USDA to implement something for carbon farming, or carbon capturing with your farming. So, it's gonna do a couple things. It's gonna give data. Data is priceless, right? Like, look at what they do with our data with social media. They make billions off it. What about soil data that can like show how we can actually heal our earth, and different farming practices we can use, and all these new things? It's got to be worth something. So let's create a carbon credit program for these farmers that are, not spraying pesticides and not tilling and not monocropping, and you know, doing things that are beneficial to the planet, so that way there's better runoff, there's less erosion, there's more carbon capturing at all points of every point of your property. Like, it just creates for a much better environment for all of us. And I have big dreams, and I'm grinding for all of them right now. I can't fucking wait. So yeah, that's like stream of income number 3. I guess I'd say Terra Apothecary as a whole. I'll eventually probably make some money off of that. You know, I'm not. I don't. I just want to build the vision at this point. If I don't make money off Terra Apothecary for 15 years, I'm fine. I have other things to go. I just know that that's going to disrupt, and disruption, if done in the right way for the right reasons, that's generational wealth. Exactly what I've been aiming for. Um, so I'm still figuring out my other 4 streams of income to truly become like a wealthy person. But maybe some people are different. Maybe there's some investments I'll make into companies and whatnot. Um, oh man, it's almost like if I got access to that program for carbon testing, all the data, that's like a stream of income on its own. Data, again, priceless. It's literally priceless. You cannot put a price on data. I mean, you kind of can. It's worth a lot. um, yeah, I'm excited. I wanted to celebrate a little bit. I think everybody's in like a clubhouse room right now, which is cool. Um, or I don't know. I started early. There's some crazy shit going on apparently with Russia. No, there's apparently a hemp building uh clubhouse right now. Interesting. Interesting. All right. I think I'm gonna hop off. It's only 9:10. So yeah, I haven't really been in Clubhouse much. I hop in for like 5 minutes a week, maybe. I uh I don't know. I start listening, and then I get a guest at my store, or I'm with the family and I'm not trying to work. I've really been trying to make times where I don't work, period. I'm just with my family. It's something I've been trying to get better at. Um, I have I have a whole do not disturb list set up, and so like only certain people can reach me. So I never have my phone on loud unless I have it on do not disturb, because then like if people are reaching me, it's probably my employees, or you know somebody that's watching my daughter or my fiance, like somebody that's my son's mom, like it's somebody important on my list. So I'm getting better about that. And Clubhouse was one of those things I had to sacrifice in order to do that. I feel like, because Clubhouse was taking a lot of my time, way too much of my time, I would actually say. There was a lot of good value in it. I've met a lot of cool people, and I'm excited for VCon and all that. And maybe, closer to VCon, maybe it depends. Depends how we're having a funky winter, Matt. We're having a funky winter, and there's been some stuff sprouting up. I haven't checked the farm to see if that's sprouting up at all, but there's been some stuff sprouting up already, and it's fucking crazy. So, I am ready for what's next. Again, we literally captured about 4 tons of carbon on our acre, in 3 months. So this year, we're definitely gonna have a successful crop, like, by June, we should have waist high field of hemp. And then by, like, end of July, they should be taller than me, all of them, and, that's gonna be fun to walk through. It's gonna be a little scary, actually. There could be just animals right there. Just a giant fucking forest of hemp. But like I've said a bunch, I planted 25,000 to 30,000 seeds last year, and probably like 100 to 200 plants came up. It was a very low amount. Um, I was happy those popped up because they mostly seeded out and planted on their own. So there's another probably few thousand seeds at least that got added into the pot. Um, those seeds are gonna be special. Not only did they were able to sprout up late in the season, um, they flowered all the way out, like, pollinated. They're gonna be winterized over the winter. They're gonna have, like, survive this funky winter season we're having, like, it's February, we're having, like, 350-degree days in a row, and now it was, like, 30 degrees today, and it's gonna snow tomorrow, like, there's shit sprouting up, hemp's probably sprouting up, so everything that's gonna, like, make it that from the dormant season last year is gonna be fucking mint, and we're working on getting a greenhouse right now, to be able to start preserving some genetics because that's extremely, extremely important. Like, I wanna take some of the male plants and put them in a greenhouse and get all the pollen off the male plants that I can, because that's gonna be, again, invaluable. You just go through your field, you put a little respirator mask on, and literally spray fucking pollen all over your female plants, and all of a sudden you're creating like these super genetics for New England. Um, and genetics are the IP essentially in everything that I'm doing. So that's the important information that is in the background of how it works essentially. So genetics will be everything and are everything in cannabis in general. Oh my god, yeah, all the stuff that I put into the soil definitely helped. We're getting another soil test done in probably April. I wanna test it early. We the Our soil is literally in the 100th percentile. That means, like, that's the highest it can go, right? It's not the 1 percentile, it's 100th percentile. It literally could basically get no better. That's where the soil is at this point. Now that the pH is fixed, I can literally see through the numbers that there's more nutrient uptake, and that's a big reason why there was a lot more carbon in the soil, because now the pH being fixed mixed with the amendments that I made with the fish shit and with the biofish, I was that stuff literally inoculates the soil with good bacteria, and that good bacteria mixed with a good pH makes it a good environment for them to thrive and keep growing, and then them mixed with the mycorrhizal fungi all create deeper roots for all the plants that are there, and the roots literally have hairs all over them, and that's what kind of like breaks down the carbon into humus deep inside of the soil. So everything I did was for a reason, and it's all documented. That's why I'd say that my NFT project someday is gonna be like, damn, like, he had vision and didn't even know he had vision, because I was just trying to, like, give people cool shit, like, "Here's my grow journal, here's this," so, like, I have to be on top of documenting, um, and someday, because I did that, it's all gonna be there, the blueprint from start to finish from, like I wish I gotta have a serious talk with my former partner and see if I can at least get a copy of our grow journal together. You don't have to give me the whole thing, but just a copy of it, and then I gotta go to my mom's house and see if she still has my grow journal there, and if I can get those 2 pieces of information, I literally have information about how I've been growing, tedious information, every little thing that we did differently to plants, and I did the same thing from 2017 until now. So 5 years of information so far. And that's in the first 17, 18, the first 2 years were all indoor growing of just traditional cannabis. So there's a blueprint of even that in there, and I feel like I was barely getting started. I feel like I was just starting to get, like, the hang of having cycles and, like, being able to, with a very small amount of plants, with the legal amount of 12 plants, be able to be harvesting every 5 weeks and getting more than you would ever need, giving some to your fucking family members that need it. Like, you'd have more than enough, and if everybody did that, again, it would disrupt the dispensaries. I was feeling a little bitter, I can't lie. When I first moved back here, I literally applied to every fucking dispensary. Every single dispensary in Massachusetts and some in Rhode Island, and nobody even called me. And it just made it so I really wanted to be their competition. And so I was trying to grow really good, and I had all these really big dreams of, like, I'm gonna have my own dispensary and fucking crush them all. And I just realized it was millions of dollars to really get into that. So pivoted to hemp, and that's all well documented. I will say that about my former partner. He's very scientific minded. So everything that we did, we had to tediously fucking notate. It was annoying at times, but I completely get it now, like, because I'm more tedious than I was with my notes before. That's why I take videos and shit while I'm at the field, so if I forget something, it's fresh. I'm, like, literally just as I'm walking to the field, you're seeing my fresh thoughts on the plants that I'm discovering and the things that I'm discovering in the field, so that way it's, eventually I'd like to have a cameraman and everything because it makes it easier to not have to make sure everything's working. You can just talk out loud and document everything. But, I gotta be humble right now. It's just me. So, uh, I'm doing the best I can with that. But yeah, I want to get that data because 5 years of data, again, like I said, data is priceless. And if you put a price on it, it's usually always very expensive. Uh, so I can't wait. And obviously, that will be something I include as a benefit to, V2. I'm working really hard to get that. I'm gonna get that, I feel like. Um, Fingers crossed, because that'll be a big utility. Now it's all things cannabis, and realistically, all things farming and all things cannabis. Because if what I'm doing with hemp, it's not that hard to really take that and do it with anything. Like, I hope Eric, he has an elderberry farm. I hope some of what he's doing, because I do see a lot of what he's doing improving. I know he's doing a shit ton of research, but I hope I've helped in that somewhat. Um, because that's what I want to see. He's actually taught me a couple things now, and I'm trying to incorporate that into my growing style. But that's what it's all about. I just want to provide the most amount of value possible for people. So basically, you can start your own farm with the information that I'm putting in that. That's the fucking goal, is to just grow this network. Eventually, my hope is to, have people in Idaho be like, "Oh, I used your techniques on my farm, and I don't use pesticides anymore, but I'm getting, 10% more of a yield, and it's higher quality because I'm not using pesticides and all this crap." And that's all I want to see. Just have a network of people that I know and can go check out their farms, and I have some ideas for, like, you know, allegedly maybe some kind of series, but I won't talk about publicly yet. Um, I got a lot of ideas, guys. So I'm done ranting and raving and being me. I was gonna say I'm gonna finish smoking this joint, but I already finished smoking this joint. So guess it's time to go night nights. So as always, oh, who do I have next week on the show? Let's see. Roman Punks. Word. So it's another NFT project that I really like. Somebody in the VA Friends community. So definitely come check that out. I'll be on 8:30, next week. Probably not 8 o'clock. I came on early because I knew I'd probably want to roll up and chill for a second. So I came on a little bit early. So as always, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes to you.